Hello friends, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so you get notified for my every new video. My name is Raghvendra and in this video I am going to explain something about the construction contract. I will elaborate here the definition of the contract as well as the types of contract. This is very important for the civil engineers whether they are in the execution field or in the QS field. So first of all I am going to explain the what is contract. As per section 2H of the Indian Contract Act 1872, contract is an agreement enforceable by law. This question can be asked in the interview also, what is contract? So this is the best definition for the contract as per section 2H of the Indian Contract Act 1872. This is the Indian Contract Act 1872. Contract is an agreement enforceable by law. So contract is an agreement between the two parties which is enforceable by law. The next one is the two elements of an agreement is. So what is agreement? Offer or proposal and an acceptance of that offer. Offer or proposal by the contractor and an acceptance of that offer by the client. So this is next one is the agreement which is not enforceable by law is known as void agreement. If any agreement, I mean that offer or proposal or that acceptance of that offer is not enforceable by law, so that will be a void agreement. I mean that is not valid agreement. So now I am going to explain the types of contract. So first is the percentage rate contract. In this percentage rate contract, the owner prepares schedule of items with quantities, rates, unit and amount shown therein. I mean the owner itself prepare all these bill of quantities or schedule of quantities, rates, units and give to the contractor. Again I am saying that in this contract the owner prepares schedule of items with quantities, rates, units and amount shown. Even rates filled by the owner. So what contractor will do? The contractor offers percentage above, below or at par with the rates given in that schedule. The contractor offer percentage above or below. I mean they can work above on that or below. If suppose that there is a cost of the project is 1 crore, so what the contractor will give? Contractor will give that there I will take the 10% above on that. And if the contractor can work below than that, so he can also give that I can work 10% below on that. So this is the type of the contract. And in the CPWD rates, you know that sometimes this type of contract happen. They give their schedule of rates, that the CPWD rates, and you know that the DSR Delhi schedule of rates, and the contractor just submit that ki I can work on 10% above or 15% above on that rate, or just 10% or 5% below on that. Sometimes they work on below on that also. So this is a percentage rate contract. The next one is the percentage quoted by the contractor is applicable on the overall schedule. So this is also a item rate, we can say that, but that percentage which is the contractor give, that is applicable on the overall schedule. Whatever the items is mentioned in that schedule, that rate, that percentage will be applicable for the every item. So now let's go to next. The type of contract is item rate or unit rate contract, which is very common contract. The contractor quote the rate for individual items of the work on the basis of schedule of quantities, bill of quantities given by the client. So what owner prepare the BOQ, or you can say the schedule of quantities, and give to the contractor, or 3 or 4 contractors. All the contractors just give their rates, and we select the lowest one, lowest two. We prepare that comparison statement. We award, after that we award the contract. The next one is the schedule of quantities, indicates full description of the items, estimated quantities and their units. In the schedule of quantities, every item have the very much full description and the specification, so that the contractor can fill the rates. There will be no chance of any dispute. So the next one is, this is the best and economical procedure of contract, as payment is made only on actual work done. So whatever the actual work done will happen, the contractor will be paid for only that. So the next one is, the owner and contractor both are happy, as there is no uncertainty about the contract value. As I said to you earlier, the owner and contractor both are happy in this field, because owner is also very happy. Whatever the contractor will do, I have to pay for only for that, nothing much, nothing less, nothing more. Now the third one is cost plus percentage contract. In this contract, when there is an uncertainty of work and rates of labor, material, etc. are liable to fluctuate abruptly, the cost plus percentage contract are generally adopted. There is an agreement between the owner and the contractor, by which the owner agree that the contractor will be paid for on the basis of actual cost incurred plus a fixed percentage as overhead and profit, as I said that. The next one is, the contractor have to maintain all proof of expense to get the cost plus percentage. Contractor will have to maintain all the proof of expenses. They have to prove that these are the expenses, and on that they get the percentage. Now the fourth one is plinth area rate contract. In this plinth area rate contract, the rate is based on plinth area of the building. The rate is calculated on the basis of description and specification of item. So all the calculation have been done previously, and on that a plinth area rate can be calculated. So rate is per square meter of the plinth area, so calculation is very easy for billing purpose. Just you have to calculate the plinth area and multiply by the rate per square meter. There is a per square meter rate or per square feet rate. You just multiply it and you get the value. If any specification changes, so that is calculated separately and paid. If there is any specification changes, so that the calculated separately and paid. Payment method is divided in percentage of work, like completion of foundation 25%, completion up to lintel level 15%, up to slab, and so on and so forth. So this type of payment terms are given in that contract. So now I'm going to explain the fifth one. The fifth is lump sum contract. As the name indicate, it is a lump sum contract. This is an agreement in which one party consents to pay another party a specified amount, normally established by competitive bidding. So in this lump sum type of contract, a fixed amount is established between the contractor and owner, and the contractor will have to work within that amount. Generally this type of contract is used for the small work, because there is a chance of loss, so no one want to take a high risk. So because there is a chance of loss or more profit in this type of contract, sometimes the contractor get more profit also. In a lump sum contract, the owner has essentially assigned all the risk to the contractor. It is mentioned in the contract, if there is any risk arises, so that the contractor will have to take that risk. So now the next one is EPC contract. EPC stands for Engineering, Procurement and Construction. It is a significant form of contract in the construction industry. It is a very significant form of contract. In this type of contract, the contractor do the engineering, procurement and construction. I mean, all the designs, consultancy, all these things are done by the procurement. Construction is done by the contractor. In EPC, the owner provides the basic engineering to the contractor, and the contractor needs to perform the detailed design based on the basic designs received by the owner. So the owner will give just the basic designs to the contractor, and now the contractor will have to provide all the detailed drawings, designing, and the procurement and construction will also be the in the part of the contractor. And the last one is, this contract may be the item rate or lump sum contract. So this may be the item rate or lump sum, but all the engineering, procurement will be done by the, and construction will be done by the contractor. In this type of contract, the private company finances, designs, constructs, operates and maintains an infrastructure objects for a period of time, and then transfer the ownership of the project to the government. So all these things, finance, design, construction, operation, maintenance, all this done by the contractor. And that is, there is a period they get all these money from that project. If there is any highway project, so they get the toll taxes. So when that by the toll tax they recover all these monies, then they hand over to the government. So during this period, the private company is entitled to retain all revenues generated by the project and is the owner of this facility. So at this time, that contractor is the owner of this facility. So this is a very important contract nowadays, and in the big projects, highways projects, the maximum this boom.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Raghvendra, and in this video I am going to explain you the contract documents. I will explain you here what are the necessary documents for the contract. So only agreement between two parties is not a contract, but include all other documents and correspondence which are mentioned to form integral part of the agreement. So without these documents, the contract is incomplete, and that's why it is important and customary to refer as contract documents. So these documents are very important to form the contract. So please watch it carefully, and the list of these documents are: first is agreement, letter of acceptance or letter of intent or notice to proceed. Next one is contractor's bid, tender document, general condition of contract, which is also called the GCC. Next one is special condition of contract, which is in short we can say SCC. Subsequent amendments, technical specification, drawings and bill of quantities, or you can say the schedule of quantities. So these are the list of the documents which are important for the contract. So now I am elaborating these things. First is agreement. So this is the sample for the agreement. First of all, stamp paper, and on the stamp paper, the below mentioned there is a written the contract between this agreement is between the parties name first and second. You can download this agreement sample from the description box. So I am just showing this. This is a stamp. First of all, the stamp paper or 100 rupees stamp paper, and then the agreement between two parties, the construction subcontract, or whatever is the name of the contract. And below that there is a two witnesses who signed it, and the first party and second party also signed, which you can say that the client and the contractor. There are two parties in. So this is the sample agreement. The next one is letter of acceptance, which is also called the, you can say, the letter of intent. This is the sample of that, and you can download it from the description box. I am just showing it. This is a letter of intent, the reference number, work name, references. You have to give the all the references. Then letter of intent. In the letter of intent, you have to set that your offer is accepted, and now I am awarding you the contract value of this amount to you. And below, the client, authorized person of the client will sign here, or head of the contract, whoever is signing authority of that company, he will sign it. So as I said that you can download this sample from the description box. I have given the link at there and you can download it. Now next one is contractor's bid or tender document. So contractor's final proposal along with price. So whatever the final proposal have given by the contractor, you have to also attach it with the contract document. So this is also a part of the contract document. Next one is general condition of contract. The general condition of contract is also called GCC. Contract conditions that set the minimum performance requirements for the contractor and are common to all types of contracts. These conditions also includes the right and responsibilities of the client, consultant, architect, as well as contractor involved. GCCs are integral part of the contract. So actually general condition of contract is a very big topic, and for this topic I will make a separate video. I am just here giving the introduction of the GCC, and there are so many components of the general condition of contract, so I will explain it, every component of the general condition of contract, in a separate video. So wait for the next video, and I will explain all the components, and I will also give the sample of that general condition of contract. Special condition of contract: the condition which do not fall under general conditions and specific for the particular project. So the general condition of contract and special condition of contract, for this I will make a separate video and I will explain it in the details, because it is a very long subject, and I will elaborate the both things in the separate. Next one is subsequent amendments, and whatever the amendments have been done during the discussions to the finalization of the contract, you also attach these things. Next one is technical specification. So technical specification, whatever the items is mentioned in the bill of quantities, how it will be performed, and whatever the technical specification, it must be mentioned here. This is also a part of the contract. So specification of every item, material, process, service, workmanship, all, as well as test requirements. So this is the technical specification. Next one is drawings. So all the tender drawings, this is not a general the GFC drawings actually, but the tender drawings initially which we got from the architect, so that should be the part of the contract. Tender drawings by which quantities have been taken out, plan, elevation and section of drawing, but not GFC. So this is not the GFC. Good for construction. This is not a good for construction drawing. Next one is bill of quantities. This is the last part of the contract, bill of quantities. So in the bill of quantities, in which item, description of work, unit of measurement, quantities of work, rate for doing the work, and total amount of the work. So I am also giving you the sample of this BOQ, and you can also download this BOQ from the description box. So this I am attaching here the BOQ for the civil work only. So I'd like earthwork, plain cement concrete, reinforcement cement concrete. So this is the item rate: reinforcement, form work, machinery work, plaster work, structural steel, and so on.
Contract conditions that set the minimum performance requirements for the contractor and are common to all types of contracts. These conditions are also include the right architect as well as contractor involved. GCCs are integral part of the contract. So this is the definition of the contract. So let's start the important clauses of the general condition. In this definition clause, we define what is engineer, architect, contractor, client, owner, virtual completion, working time, and other terms used in the contract. We explain here. The second one is the scope of work. In this scope of work, date of commencement. Date of commencement means at what date the work will start by the contractor. So we can say that that is the starting date of the project. Nature of contract, lump sum contract or cost plus contract. So this is the nature of contract. Next one is all inclusive rates. We define whether the rates are inclusive of taxes or exclusive of taxes. Is exclusive or inclusive we define in this clause. Next one is insurance. In this insurance part, like the all risk policies, so the contractor will provide the all risk policies and any other insurance required. So who will be responsible, whether the contractor will do it or the client will do. So in this insurance part we define all these things. It's very important clause actually. Labor regulations. In this labor regulation, contractor will be responsible for all labor laws such as payment, wages. So I explain here definition, scope of work, date of commencement, nature of contract, all inclusive rates, insurance, and labor regulations. Few of them are still remaining, so let's go to the next slide. ESI and EPF. Yes, contribution benefit like employees state insurance, this is ESI, and employees provident fund, EPF. So the contractor will also responsible for this thing. So next one is mode of measurement, and any other method will be followed. So in this mode of measurement the description is given. Next one is payment, how the payment will be given. I mean, there is any advance payment, and after submitting the running account bill, how the payment will be released. There is any ad hoc payment will be released. So all these payments related things is mentioned in this payment clause. Next one is extra item, substituted item. How the extra item is defined. I mean, whether the profit is 15% cost plus materials plus labor, whatever is it is defined how extra item or substitute item will be derived. So this is also an important clause. Next one is time for completion. So as you know that what is the time of completion, we mention it whether it is a 1 year project or 2 year. So on what date this project will be completed. Next one is virtual completion of work. Virtual completion of work is actually completion with snag list. We give a late in the construction field the safety clause. It is all safety codes to be followed, and if there is any penalty if the contractor is not following the safety codes, so we mention. So I explain ESI and EPF, mode of measurement, payments, extra items, substituted items, time for completion, virtual completion of work, and safety. Now there is a few clauses also left in the general condition of contract. So let's go to the next slide. In this next slide, this is the dispute settlement and arbitration. So a form of alternative dispute resolution is a way to resolve dispute outside the court. So this is the arbitration is a system by which you can get a settlement outside of the court. And liquidate damages, if project is delayed, so what the penalty will be imposed on the contractor. So this is called the liquidated damages. Generally the liquid more than the fine. And next one is extension of time. So in what circumstances given to the contractor, guarantees of the work, whatever the work executed by the contractor, so the contractor will give the guarantee for that. Defect liability period. In this defect liability period is withheld with the client, and after defect liability period that security or retention money is released. This is a force majeure. Actually condition in what circumstances the delay is not considered. If any delays is happened, but there is some circumstances, if there are between two countries or any earthquake happen, so in these conditions in the is not considered. Last, termination is the conditions to terminate the contract by the client or by the contract. So I explain here dispute settlement and arbitration, liquidate damages, extension of time, guarantees, defect liability period, force majeure and termination. So these all were the general condition of contract. Now let's move to a special condition of contract. A special condition of contract. What is a special condition of contract? The condition which do not fall under general conditions and is specific for the particular project. So this is called a special condition. So special condition of contract. First is performance bond. A bond issued by a bank guaranteeing the fulfillment of a particular contract. This is a performance. Next one is earnest money. An earnest money is a specific form of security deposit made in some major transactions such as real estate dealings or required by some official procurement process. It is serious and willing to demonstrate an earnest of good faith, wanting to complete the transaction. So whether he is serious or not, for that they have to deposit some money. Next one is mobilization advance. Advance given to the contract on the value of the project. Next one is water and electricity. Whether client will provide free of cost or contractor will arrange. So this is a water and electricity. Next one is escalation free contract. Supply of material by client. So what are the materials supplied by the client? So we mention here, and what will be the wastage consideration. This is mentioned in this clause. And last but not the least, retention money and security deposit, which I explained earlier at the time of defect liability period. So this retention amount is withheld with the client for the rectification of the work. If contractor not rectify the work during the defect liability period, so by this security amount that I am going to explain the escalation clause, which is very important in the construction contract. If you are a civil engineer and want to learn this escalation clause, so it's very important, and I will explain here in a very easy method. So watch this video carefully. This is also called the price variation clause, PVC, in the railway department, and clause 10cc in the CPWD department. I will explain all these things, whether you are working in the private sector or you are in railway department or in the CPWD department or in any government department. So you can learn the escalation, how to calculate the escalation in a very easy method. So I am going to explain here what is the escalation clause or price variation clause or clause 10cc CPWD. I will explain here the meaning, definition and explanation. So all three things are important to learn here. So first of all, escalation is defined as changes in the price of specific material and labor.
इसमें क्या है कि सिर्फ जो चेंजेस होते हैं कि अगर एट द टाइम ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट स्टील का रेट अगर 50 रुपीज़ है एंड 1 मंथ या 2 मंथ बाद इसका रेट अगर 55 रुपीज़ हो जाता है, सो दैट डिफरेंस, हाउ दैट डिफरेंस विल बी कैलकुलेटेड. So I will explain here. In this clause, the basic rate of significant engineering materials such as cement, steel, bricks, etc. and labor rates, price index are mentioned in the tender. Either basic rate is mentioned or the price index sheet is mentioned, and the difference is payable or recoverable. If the rate is less, so we will recover it from the contractor, and if the rate is higher from the time of the tender, so it will be payable. So generally the difference are calculated by the formula given in the tender. So the formula is given in the tender. इसके फार्मूला कैलकुलेट करने के लिए टेंडर में दिया रहता है, तो वो मैं आपको कैलकुलेट करना सिखाऊंगा. और जो फार्मूला दिया रहता है थोड़ा सा डिफ़िकल्ट लगता है, इट सीम्स quite difficult. Give you a master formula over here and it will be very easy to mug up this formula. So this is just I made a graph here. Sometimes the rate is high. Suppose that the price index is 100 rupees at the time of tender. It might be in a quarter, after 1 quarter it become 120 or it become a 90. So these things are happening in the time of the period of the tender. So how we will calculate it? By the formula given in the tender. So first of all, before explaining the escalation, I am going to explain what is the terms related to the escalation. First is the wholesale price index. What is wholesale price index? Actually it is given by the Office of Economic Affairs. I will show the website of this wholesale price index where you get it, and this at the time of tender you get the wholesale price index of at that time, और जो भी डिफरेंस होता है जो भी आज क्वार्टरली, तो वो पेबल होता है. और दूसरा है कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स CPI, which is issued by the Reserve Bank of India bulletin. So and the next one is basic rate. What is basic rate? The basic rate for material is the cost when it is delivered to the site, including all taxes and levies and freight. So this is the basic rate. Basic rate जो FOR at site हम लोग कहते हैं, जो भी मटेरियल हम परचेज करते हैं और वो साइट पे पहुंच के इंक्लूडिंग ऑल टैक्सेस जो भी रेट्स पड़ते हैं उसी को हम बेसिक रेट. तो मैंने बताया आपको टर्म्स रिलेटेड टू एस्केलेशन. पहला है होलसेल प्राइस इंडेक्स WPI, विच इज इश्यूड बाय द ऑफिस ऑफ इकोनॉमिक अफेयर्स, एंड द नेक्स्ट वन इज कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स, विच इज इश्यूड बाय द रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया बुलेटिन. And the next one is basic rate. The basic rate FOR at site. I am going to give you the formula, master formula for escalation. Cost variation. How we can calculate the cost variation? Cement, steel or other material or labor. First of all, the work done. The work done, you can calculate the work done by the abstract or by the whatever the work done has been done. जो भी काम हुआ है साइट पे वही वर्क डन कहलाएगा. इस वर्क डन इनटू परसेंटेज ऑफ कंपोनेंट गिवन इन द टेंडर. उस मान लीजिए सीमेंट है, सीमेंट को हमें कैलकुलेट करना है, तो सीमेंट का परसेंटेज दिया होगा. उस पूरे टेंडर में मान लीजिए सीमेंट 15% यूज हो रहा है, ये आपको टेंडर में दिया होगा, तो यहाँ पे आप 15% लिखेंगे इनटू परसेंटेज चेंज इन होलसेल प्राइस इंडेक्स. अगर होलसेल प्राइस इंडेक्स में क्या चेंजेस आया क्वार्टरली, अगर मान लीजिए एट द टाइम ऑफ टेंडर अगर 100 रुपये रेट था और आज वो 120 रुपये रेट हो गया, तो इसका मतलब ये 20 रुपीज़ बढ़ गया, 20% बढ़ गया. ठीक है, तो ये 20% यहाँ पे लिखेंगे. ठीक है, 20/. तो इसको कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे, ये फॉर्मूला याद रखिए. वर्क डन इनटू परसेंटेज कंपोनेंट ऑफ गिवन, परसेंटेज कंपोनेंट गिवन इन द टेंडर. जो भी मटेरियल होगा, स्टील अगर है, स्टील मान लीजिए 35% दिया हुआ है, तो यहाँ पे 35% लिखेंगे. और परसेंटेज चेंज, जितना भी परसेंटेज चेंज हुआ, अगर 5% चेंज हुआ है रेट क्वार्टरली, तो हम यहाँ पे 5% लिखेंगे. अब मैं एक एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूँ आपको, एग्जाम्पल फॉर एस्केलेशन. अब वर्क डन मान लीजिए 10,000 रुपये हुआ, उस मटेरियल का कंपोनेंट 40% है, मान लीजिए कोई भी स्टील है या कुछ भी स्टील का कंपोनेंट मैं निकालना हो तो स्टील अगर 40% दिया हुआ है टेंडर में, बेसिक रेट उस समय 100 था, बेस प्राइस इंडेक्स जो था वो 100 है, प्राइस इंडेक्स फॉर दिस क्वार्टर 120 हुआ, क्वार्टर एवरेज निकालेंगे हम, तीनों मंथ का देखेंगे वेबसाइट से, और वेबसाइट में अभी आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, उस वेबसाइट से आप जो है आप इसको वहाँ पे क्वार्टरली एवरेज देख लेंगे कि कितना आया, आज 110 था, फिर 130 हो गया, अगले महीने फिर 140 हो गया, इस तरीके से एवरेज निकाल लेंगे हम उसका। मान लीजिए एवरेज 120 आता है, आप कॉस्ट वेरिएशन निकालेंगे, W 10,000 इंटू 40%, 40 डिवाइड बाई 100 इंटू 120 माइनस 100 बाई 100, मतलब 20% ये भी आ गया, ठीक है। तो 1000 इंटू 0.4 इंटू 0.2, तो ये 800 रुपीज़ आ गया। इसका मतलब 10,000 में पे हमें 800 रुपये से एस्केलेशन देना। सो नाउ सी द वेबसाइट ऑफ ऑफिस ऑफ द इकोनॉमिक एडवाइज़र। सपोज दैट मुझे सीमेंट का देखना है, तो ये मैंने सीमेंट टाइप किया, यहाँ देखिए ऑर्डिनरी पोर्टलैंड सीमेंट है, ऑर्डिनरी पोर्टलैंड सीमेंट का ये देखिए ये बेसिक रेट्स दिए हुए हैं, जनवरी फरवरी मार्च हर मंथ वाइज ये दिया हुआ है। तो यहाँ से आप ये प्राइस इंडेक्स ले लेंगे और यहाँ से कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे। इसी तरीके से मैं आपको आरबीआई का भी दिखाता हूँ, आरबीआई बुलेटिन होलसेल प्राइस इंडेक्स जो है, तो वो वेबसाइट ये देखिए खुल रही है। तो इस वेबसाइट्स पे भी आप जो है, जैसे रेलवे डिपार्टमेंट आरबीआई बुलेटिन को लेता है, तो आप यहाँ से ये रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया की ये बुलेटिन है, यहाँ से आप इसको आप प्राइस इंडेक्स ले सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो ये दोनों तरीका हुआ। ये तरीका हो गया जो सिंपल मेथड फॉर एस्केलेशन। एक दूसरा मेथड है जो यूज़ किया जाता है, कई बार इसमें भी यूज़ किया जाता है प्राइवेट सेक्टर्स में। कॉस्ट वेरिएशन कैसे निकालेंगे, मान लीजिए मुझे स्टील पे निकालना, तो वेट ऑफ स्टील, जितना वेट ऑफ स्टील कंज्यूम्ड हो गया आज तक, मान लीजिए 100 टन यूज़ हो गया, उसका वेट लिख लेंगे हम, 1000 kg मैंने लिख लिया मान लीजिए। डिफरेंस इन रेट, पहले 50 रुपये रेट था एट द टाइम ऑफ टेंडर, अभी 55 रुपये हो गया, तो 5 रुपये इसका मतलब रेट बढ़ गए। अगर यही उल्टा होता तो माइनस भी हो जाता, ठीक है। तो 1000 इंटू 5000 रुपीज़, इसका मतलब ये इसे हमें पे करना है, ठीक है। 1000 किलो उसने स्टील यूज़ किया, उस पर हमें ये यूज़ करना। तो ये तरीका हो गया। मैं आपको अब इसके टेंडर्स के वो भी दिखाता हूँ। ये देखिए, ये है टेंडर प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जो यूज़ किया जाता है। अब जैसे ब्रिक्स पे निकालना हुआ मुझे, तो क्यूबी दिया है, क्वांटिटी ऑफ ब्रिक्स यूज्ड एज पर थ्योरेटिकल कंजम्पशन। अब कितना, मान लीजिए जितना क्यूबिक मीटर हुआ है ब्रिक वर्क, उससे हम कंपोनेंट, उससे स्टैंडर्ड से निकाल लेंगे कितने नंबर ऑफ ब्रिक्स यूज हुए, और रेट डिफरेंस। तो ये आप रेट डिफरेंस निकाल लिया, मान लीजिए रेट डिफरेंस 100 रुपये आया, तो जितना भी ब्रिक्स, क्यूबी क्या है, क्वांटिटी ऑफ ब्रिक्स यूज एज पर थ्योरेटिकल कंजम्पशन एज पर, मान लीजिए अगर 1000 ब्रिक्स यूज हुए तो 1000 इंटू 100 रुपीज़। तो इस तरीके से आप निकाल लेंगे। ये बहुत सिंपल मेथड है। दूसरा मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ, जीसीसी आपका ये CPWD का है। इसमें 0.85 लेते हैं, एन निकालते हैं क्वाट डब्ल्यू के साथ, और 15% हम मानते हैं कि 15% ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिस पे कोई एस्केलेशन नहीं पेबल होता है, इसमें 0.85 पे ही करते हैं। ये फार्मूला दिया हुआ है। इसी तरीके से आप प्राइस वेरिएशन क्लॉज देख सकते हैं, आप यहाँ पे भी आप देखिए, ये देखिए फ्यूल कंपोनेंट, फिक्स्ड कंपोनेंट भी दिया हुआ है, देखिए 15% फिक्स कंपोनेंट, तो इस पर कुछ भी एस्केलेशन नहीं मिलेगा। लेबर कंपोनेंट दिया है, मटेरियल कंपोनेंट दिया है, आप इस पर ये देखिए, ये फार्मूले दिए हुए हैं जो थोड़ा सा लगते हैं कि बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट से फार्मूले हैं, पर ये फार्मूले एक्चुअली में इतने डिफ़िकल्ट होते नहीं हैं। तो ये फार्मूले बिल्कुल ईजी हैं, जैसे मैंने बताया आपको, फार्मूला बिल्कुल ईजी है। वर्क डन इनटू परसेंटेज ऑफ कंपोनेंट गिवन इन द टेंडर इंटू परसेंटेज चेंज इन होलसेल प्राइस इंडेक्स। तो ये सिंपल सा फार्मूला आप याद रख लीजिए, और इससे आप कोई भी एस्केलेशन इजीली निकाल। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग। प्लीज सब्सक्राइब, लाइक, शेयर एंड कमेंट फॉर मोर यूजफुल वीडियोज।